How's it going there, everybody? It's Mr. Zen over here bringing you guys a brand new Youjo Senki episode discussion. And for today's segment, guys, we're going to be talking about is episode 9 and 10. As this episodes actually continue on, and we actually see that Tanya is actually implementing a war strategy from the higher ups in a 3-step processing plan, folks. Yes, and this is pretty interesting because Tanya's Mage Battalion, yeah, they're doing pretty good. Not gonna lie to you guys that for these two whole entire episodes, it was very leading up to the point that it just seemed that Tanya's Mage Battalion was actually going to win. They were overwhelming the other opponents. The Entity Alliance, it seems that they're just withering down to a small fraction of what they can accomplish with itself. And it's hilarious that you're seeing this, but the episode 10 is where like the bulk of what's going on is going to lead on to the next episode. That makes it very interesting because 9, like the majority of episode 9 and then like half of episode 10 was more or less to say about how Tanyas Forces were just decimating the whole entire Entity Alliance, and wow, that was intense. Now episode 9 did involve bringing a brand new like rocket ship. It's like a V1 like rocket of some sorts, and they were sent to the you can say the opposing forces because the 3-step processing plan, folks. This was interesting. The first one is Operation Shock and Awe. Now I'm gonna explain as to what's going on with that one. In that one, it's where Tanyas Forces are split into 3 groups and they're sent to 3 of the headquarters of the Anti-Alliance, where they have to, you could say, they're trying to take down the communications, the headquarters, and basically the major leaders of the Anti-Alliance. Now, Tanya's group in the Operation Shock and Awe, it was interesting to say the least that they only were at like a warehouse of some sorts, and it was empty, and so they were kind of like, oh, okay. Tanya was pissed and irritated at the fact that they were left somewhere where they're like, okay, you know, this isn't it, so we still gotta blow it up. So she goes, okay, we gotta blow this up. But one of the 2nd battalions, if I remember correctly, was, I believe, they found it, but it was off camera that they started destroying the whole thing. And it was interesting to say the least, guys, because of the way that we see Tanya's Forces. They're still trying to take down the Alliance, even though there's a small fraction left over. But the fact that the way that it was set up, and the way that the world leaders in the Imperial Forces was actually, they were getting irritated while Tanya was the one struggling, doing everything she can to actually get the job done in a specific time too, of course, because I believe the generals up on the Imperial Forces, they were actually being questioned as to why is the Anti-Alliance actually so, they're actually so close to home. They know that why is the Imperial Forces, why are they being dragged more and more back when they should be actually pushing forward? And, you know, of course, the world leaders are just irritated the fact that, you know, that they're losing of some sorts. But in all reality, it was a trap, because in Operation Shock and Awe, it was just basically to lead the opposing forces into thinking that they're actually winning, but in reality they were actually losing, and they were getting their wits blown out of them. That's what I kind of found interesting in Operation Shock and Awe. It was the fact that it's a 3-step processing plan. Now that's Operation Shock and Awe. I believe then it was Operation Pic and Lock. It was the second one where they actually, after they found the enemy's forces, from there they set up mines and explosives all over the battlefield itself, and blew up a majority of the battlefield itself, that sent the majority of the Anti-Alliance's forces into just haywire. And remember, guys, because in Operation Shock and Awe, they destroyed the communications place, so now the Anti-Alliances are kind of in fritz as to they don't know what to do. There's no communication going on, so now they're all scattered everywhere with no means of communicating with each other. That makes actual sense as to what the militaries are actually doing. And General Zetor is just there smoking with the leaders, saying, "Oh, you know, you guys have to be patient. What we're doing is a 3-step processing plan." And of course, all the leaders there were just like wondering, like, "Oh wow, you know, like now you tell us because they were just irritated at the fact that why are they being kept secret of what was actually been implemented. Now, then I believe then the last of the operation was Revolving Door, which then leads on to episode 10, which then involves, I believe, Tanyas Forces. They head towards the Anti-Alliance's main battlefield, and right there they're supposed to basically think of it like this. They're gonna basically kind of overwhelm the opponent through all the sides, so like a revolving door that the forces are gonna have to, they're not gonna be able to escape or have any means of escape in itself, that the only way to escape is towards the sea. And that's what the land forces are trying to do. They're kind of making a whole U-turn on itself and just encompassing the whole enemy's battlefield, that if they have to go to the sea, that's the only way means to escape. But that means that's where Tanya's forces come in, through the skies. And right there and then, they're the ones that are coming in to destroy anyone that's retreating. Because remember, guys, the Anti-Alliance are just basically retreating while the forces themselves are just kind of pushing them towards more and more to the sea, which is basically kind of they're basically just chopping the enemies bit by bit by bit, kind of like a cheese grater. And that's what I kind of found it interesting, was the fact that many of the foot soldiers that were on the battlefield where they were running away, they were either getting burned, there was the tanks that were coming in, they were blasting them. It was interesting to say at least that the opposing forces, they know that they lost, and they're just literally running towards their doom. Now, the X factor that involved in episode 10, guys, was General Siyu. And he's back, and he was alive. Like I said in my previous video, that I know he was alive because I read the wiki, and I know he wasn't going to die, because the way they kind of set up that character with his backstory was very interesting, and they gave him a lot of reasoning to actually focus on Tanya herself. And he came in here as a bogey on the battlefield, because remember, guys, Tanya was actually specifically saying, like, there's an unidentified mage battalion that's not picking up. We don't know where they're coming from, so they're not answering our call. And then it was interesting to say at least that it was General Su, and he actually took down one of Tanya's members. And Tanya was just surprised at the fact that this guy is back. Or actually, I don't even think she actually saw who it was, but she was just surprised at the fact that now they're being caught in a trap themselves. Like I said, it's interesting how this war path is actually going about. But that's it for today's segment, guys, because that's where the episode last leaves off. I'm going to watch episode 11 later after this. I'm done with this video, so that way I can give you guys my thoughts and opinions, because this episodes themselves, it's a lot of information that's being bombarded, since it's not really necessarily an action paced show. It's more or less to say more like a military strategic battles itself. It's very, you could say, political in a sense. So I could tell why a lot of people actually kind of quit this anime, since they're not really seeing being X, but they're mostly seeing more of the political agenda on the anime itself. But like I said, it's actually interesting. I'm enjoying it, and I understand what's going on here. So maybe that's why people kind of get bored of it, because they might not understand all the proper terms that are being, or actually the plan itself that's going about through the episodes. But like I said, everybody has their own cup of tea. But let me know down in the comments below, guys, what are you guys' thoughts on episode 9 and episode 10, as episode 9 and 10 was very interesting, guys. Very interesting. I can't wait to see what General Su is going to do, or if he's actually going to die this time. I'm hoping that he actually gets killed, or needless to say, or at least he tries to make an impression on Tanya, or at least Tanya actually confronts the guy. Or we don't know also if General Su actually has more of a, did being X actually gave him an extra edge on power levels itself. But like I said, let me know down in the comments. And as always, guys, if you guys enjoy my content, don't forget to give a like, comment, share, and subscribe for more Youjo Senki episode discussions. And as always, guys, hope you guys are having a wonderful day. But this is Mr. Zen, signing out.